There's been a Liberal national domination. Live to Brendan Smith from one of the seats they picked up against predictions, at least until the past couple of days. That's when the talk of Longman began, Brendan, but a whole host of seats across the Sunshine State. A week out, Labor were talking about where they'd take. Now they're on a massive defensive.
Yeah, big time. An absolute shock here in Queensland. Of course, so many marginal seats across the Sunshine State. Politicians have been hitting the ground hard over the past few weeks, spruiking a number of funding announcements. But last night, of course, the LNP took the majority of the seats. Of course, here in Longman, Susan Lamb was the member for Longman. She, of course, won the by-election a few months ago against Trevor Ruthenberg. She was caught up in that dual citizenship debacle. Obviously, her policies didn't resonate with voters, and it's now been taken by the LNP. That's Terry Young. That's an LNP gain. Further north in Herbert, Phil Thompson has won against Cathy O'Toole. Of course, in North Queensland, Adani was a huge ticket item. That was only held by 0.2% of a margin. That was the most marginal seat in Queensland. That's another LNP gain. In Lily, on the north side of Brisbane, that's yet to be fully counted. Annika Wells is likely to win. That's the Labor candidate holding on to the seat at the moment with a healthy 5.7% margin. Annika is taking over from Wayne Swan. She's ahead of Brad Carswell from the LNP. Of course, Dixon, one of the most talked about seats in Queensland. That was won by Peter Dutton. He's held that seat since 2001. There was, of course, a major get-up campaign against Peter Dutton. There was even a plane flying overhead yesterday saying to ditch Dutton, but he's snagged that win from Ailey France. Of course, in Petrie, Luke Howarth, he's retained that bellwether seat. It was held by the LNP by a mere 1.6%. He was up against Corinne Mulholland. And, of course, in Ford, that's in the Logan region, won by Bert Van Manen. He's re-elected for the fourth time. He was up against Des Hardman, and that, of course, was a razor-thin margin as well, only 0.6%. And back to Dixon, of course, that's been in the headlines for a number of months. Peter Dutton up against Ailey France, a disability advocate, a former journalist and mother of two. She is a newbie to the political scene, and of course Peter Dutton was in the headlines a number of times. He said that voters said that Ailey France was in fact using her disability as an excuse not to live in the electorate. That caused widespread condemnation against Peter Dutton. She did confirm she lived around 5 minutes from the electorate and said she would purchase a home or move into a home that was wheelchair accessible. But that clearly did not resonate with voters. Peter Dutton has held onto the seat, that 1.7% margin. He gave his victory speech last night. Let's hear a little of what he had to say.
I want to quote a former Prime Minister. His name was Paul Keating, and the quote was, "This is the sweetest victory of all."
So there you go, Tom. Clearly we can't trust the polls. That 1.7% margin, a lot of people thought that Ailey France could have won, but Peter Dutton has held on since 2001, and it looks like he'll be holding on for a number of years yet.